else? What are you up to?
You know, it's that weekly shop. Never know what I'm gonna get. It's such a mess.
Yeah.
What about you?
I'm doing my weekly shop as well, but I make sure I come prepared with my list.
What?
Yeah.
How do you have time to do that?
It takes maybe 30, 40 minutes in advance. I look through the flyers, look for any deals, make a meal plan for the week, know what I'm going to be cooking for dinner especially, and then I jot it all down. It really helps me stay on track with my shopping, keeps my budget down, and helps me prevent putting all the extra goodies into my cart.
Ah, all right. I think you've convinced me. I think I need to start shopping with a list. I just feel so overwhelmed all the time.
It's a really great tool to use to keep you focused and on track and make your grocery trips as in and out as possible.
And do you do a recipe list? Like all the you look at your recipes for the week and then make a list from those?
Yep,
kind of
definitely.
thing?
I look at whatever recipes. A lot of them are recipes that I kind of have on rotation, and I just pull the ingredients from those, put them together, and I try to make my recipes overlap. So you'll see I'll use my protein in multiple meals just to make the budget go a little bit further.
Cool, good. I think I'm gonna follow you around the store today.
Sounds great, be my guest.
So I'm just gonna follow you around the grocery store. Where do you start?
Sounds great. So I always like to start in the produce section. It's convenient. That's where they put you. They put all the nice, colorful fruits and vegetables right up front to really catch your eye. You want to try to make half your cart fruits and vegetables. So it's a really great place to start to make sure that you can fill up on them.
Half your cart. Okay.
Half your cart.
All right.
If you think about it, we're trying to make half of our plate fruits and vegetables, right? So
Yeah.
it only makes sense that you're making half your cart that way.
I like it. Plant forward. Let's do it.
Exactly.
2019. We're in.
So one of the biggest tricks when you're shopping for produce, because a lot of times I hear it's expensive to eat healthy, use the sale. So right now we've got some citrus on sale and melons. Those are actually the fruits that are in season right now. So looking for the sales in your weekly flyers and then buying fruits and vegetables that are on season. So like I said, we've got citrus, some melons are in season, and then for vegetables, broccoli, cauliflower, celery, and then a lot of the dark leafy greens. So kale, spinach, you might be finding some good sales on those.
That's great. I love it.
In the spring and summertime, in the fall, using your local farmers market is a really great way to get local produce on sale, and you know exactly where it's coming from.
Yeah. So we're eating a lot of apples these days because I find them cost effective, but I usually buy them one at a bag and pick and choose. What do you recommend?
I recommend trying to buy them in bulk. So here we've got some 3-pound bags that are already put together for us. Especially if it's something that you know that you're going to go through. I think there's about 7-8 apples in there. The unit price, you're paying $1.33 per pound in these bags. If you were to buy them individually, you're paying $1.69 per pound.
Oh my goodness.
So you're saving, with that difference, you're only saving 36 cents. But those are also on sale right now. So it's 80 cents more usually, so you're saving about $1. If it's something that you're buying every week, that adds up.
It adds up, yeah. That's great. So come over here, find the bulk ones first. It's something that everybody eats in the family.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily want to be buying something in bulk that you know you're not going to go through because it can increase your food waste. But if it's an apple is a staple snack or part of your breakfast, definitely better to buy in bulk.
You can always bake them at the end of their lifespan
Make applesauce
Make
too.
applesauce with them, yeah. That's great.
So here we've got all sorts of different carrots. It's a bit overwhelming. Which one do you choose? We've got the whole carrots in different size bags. We've got baby cut carrots, matchstick carrots, carrot chips.
They even have this new shredded thing.
I know.
Really interesting to me.
know. It draws your eye for sure. One of the ways to make buying produce most cost effective is avoiding paying for processing. A lot of times we think of processed foods, it's all negative, but simply taking a whole carrot, making it into a baby carrot or matchstick carrots, they're manipulating the carrots in some way and changing it. And they're gonna make you pay for that, for the work that they're doing. So, for example here, we've got a 3-pound bag of carrot sticks. These are really versatile. You can put them in soups, you can put them, shred them into other sauces and dishes, and also as your traditional carrot stick snack. 83 cents per pound for this 3-pound bag. We've got our a package of baby carrots here. And for this 1 pound bag, it's $1.49. So you're getting less, and although the labels make it look like this is cheaper at $1.50 versus $2.50, but you're getting so much more for the 3 pound bag of whole carrots that's your better option. Similarly, we've got, this is only a 10-ounce container, so not even a full pound, $2 for the matchstick carrots, $3.18 a pound, compared to the 83 cents per pound that we are dealing with the whole carrot. So if you can take a little bit of extra time in your week to shred carrots, if that's what a recipe calls for, you can save some money there.
That's a great tip. Yeah. Time is also a factor in preparation, though. So but hopefully we can talk about that in a little bit.
Definitely.
When you make time to prepare your food.
Exactly.
That's great.
Let me go right down here. So here was everything that my list called for this week. I got some apples in the bulk. Bananas are always a really cost-effective way to get your fruits in. Some celery and carrots for meals and also for snacks. And then a zucchini that I like to shred and add to all of my meals to add some extra vegetables.
I'm curious about that. Okay, good.
Picked up a rotisserie chicken. I love these. They're pre-cooked. So all you have to do is take the skin off to get rid of some of the extra saturated fat, break them down, get all the meat off of it, and you'll see I'm planning on using it in a stir fry this week and also a soup. You can sometimes get a few chicken sandwiches out of them as well. So it's a really great, easy way to get some protein in.
I love that it's already cooked, because that's sometimes my biggest barrier is I get home at night and I'm so tired. I don't want to have to cook something.
Exactly.
Or like grilled chicken breast. So it's already a pre-cooked dinner.
It's pre-cooked. What I plan on doing is breaking it down as soon as I get home tonight, so I have no excuse for the rest of the week. It's right there. You want to make the healthy choice the easy choice, and the best way to do that is to have things ready and on hand.
And do you cut it up and just put it in like a bowl for the week?
Yep, I just put it in a Tupperware.
Tupperware container. Cool.
Yeah.
I like that. That's a really easy trick. You have your chicken. Do you buy any other meat?
For this week, I've already done my meal planning, and I don't have any other meat involved. But next week, I might grab some red meat. When I am meal planning with the red meat, I try to keep in mind the recommendation of only having it a couple times a week. And there are definitely some better options you can get. The concern with red meat is that it's higher in saturated fat, which is the kind that's associated with increased cardiovascular or heart disease. So I try to choose the leaner portions. For beef, that's the round steak, roast, top loin, and then the top sirloin. And then for pork, you're looking for anything with a loin. So tenderloin, top loin, and the center loin for those.
So if I wanted to pick any of those, or I didn't know what I was looking for, who would I ask?
You could ask someone at the meat counter. They'd be really helpful in pointing you out. I know I still rely on them sometimes.
All right, yeah, because meat sort of confuses me sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know though. Top loin, round,
top sirloin,
any,
round steak.
Round steak.
Those are the ones that you're really going for.
And they have less saturated fat.
Less saturated fat.
Okay.
And anytime you do purchase a meat, you can also cut away this marbling, this white, to that's where the saturated fat's going to be fine. So if you cut any extra away, you're only doing your heart a favor.
Okay. Cool. Good.
The one type of meat that I tend to buy most often is in the ground form. I use it in a lot of like tacos, or I'll crumple it on or add it into spaghetti sauce, stuff like that. And so you have a few options there. You can use a ground beef. If you are doing a ground beef, you want to look for 93% lean or higher. Let's see if we've got any here.
So this one says 73.
So we've got 73% lean here, and it has 340 calories for 4 ounces. And I see a 90% lean here, and it has 190 calories for that same 4 ounce portions. So you can save 150 calories just in the type of meat you're purchasing.
Oh, that's awesome.
Another option you have, and something that I do a lot, is switching, replacing the ground beef with ground turkey or ground chicken. These tend to be leaner, and so here we have a 93% lean ground turkey, and it's 160 calories and 2 grams less of saturated fat than the 90% lean ground beef.
And same amount of protein.
And same amount of protein.
22 grams of protein. Wow, that's awesome.
So it's an easy swap you can make to make your diet a bit more heart healthy.
That's great. That's a great hack right there. Ground turkey. Do you think the kids will notice?
If you season it and you flavor it, and especially if it's mixed in, it's really hard to tell.
It's really hard to tell. Okay.
And of course, meats aren't our only source of protein. We can also use legumes, so any beans, lentils, those are a really great source of protein as well. And it's recommended to try to do a meatless meal for dinner once a week.
Oh, really?
Just to take a break off from the meat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We're at the dairy aisle, Danny. I come here and I stand here probably for about 10 minutes every time and try to figure out what to get the kids and myself as a good, healthy protein. I know yogurt's a really good protein, but without the added sugars and the extras, you know. So I'm so confused because there's so many options now, right? Which is great and really overwhelming.
Definitely. And so, like you said, yogurt can be a great source of protein. You can have it on the side of your main meal. It's great as a snack, as a breakfast, but there are a few things you want to watch out for. You want to preferably be choosing a low-fat or non-fat yogurt, and then you want to watch out for the added sugars. They use a lot of different types of sugar to sweeten yogurt, so you'll see it in a lot of the different flavored yogurts. So let's take a look at a couple labels and see what we can find.
Okay, that sounds great.
Right.
Okay, so, all right, great.
So here we've got a couple of labels. This, you'll notice that they look a little bit different. This is the
Can't even read this one.
I know, they made some updates. This label hasn't been updated for decades. So starting this summer, you might have seen that some of these new nutrition facts labels, and you can see they're a little bit different. There's more attention drawn to the serving size and the calories. And then we also have this extra added sugars line, which is really handy, especially when evaluating products like yogurt. What this line tells you is how much sugar is added to the product. So yogurt and most dairy has lactose in it, which is a naturally occurring sugar. So we see here that it has 18 total sugars and 12 of those are added sugars. So 6 grams are the naturally containing lactose.
Okay.
And on this label, you have no way to tell the difference between the two, the natural and the added sugars. But this label clearly spells out the difference. So this strawberry flavored yogurt has 12 grams of added sugar. That equals 3 teaspoons of added sugar. Would you sit and eat 3 teaspoons of sugar?
For the whole container?
Per 3/4 cup.
So a 3/4 cup of sugar with this strawberry. So it's 3 teaspoons. Like I'm putting 3 teaspoons in 3/4 cups of yogurt. I would never do that.
Right. And so there's a lot of added sugar hidden into our food products. So what I recommend is buying a plain yogurt. So a plain, non-fat Greek yogurt has more protein. So if you like the creaminess and the tang, that can be a good option. And add frozen fruit. Or even if you're adding a teaspoon of honey, you're doing less, adding less added sugars than they are in the product itself.
Okay, that's great to know. My kids like plain yogurt with maple syrup on it.
Yep.
So that's what I've been trying to do.
And anytime you can take the control back, so you can control exactly how much added sugar is going into there with the maple syrup, you can feel better about knowing what's in your food.
So my kids drink a lot of milk, and we drink milk with our cereal and sometimes for dinner. What do you recommend for milk?
Yeah, so the general recommendation is to do a milk that's either skim, fat-free, or 1%, just to save on the saturated fat and the calories, especially if it's something that you drink often and are having a lot of it throughout the day. Milk's a great source of protein. It's got a lot of calcium in it, so it does have a place in our diets.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
And what about milk alternatives? I tend to be a little lactose intolerant, so I don't drink a lot of milk.
Yeah.
But I do like a good granola with a nice
Yeah.
milk or something on it. And I usually use almond milk. Is that a good option?
Yeah, so there are definitely a ton of different options when it comes to the dairy alternatives. They're great for people like yourself who might not tolerate the lactose as well, or choose to live a vegan lifestyle, or just don't like the taste of milk. One thing you want to be careful with is that they don't have the exact same nutrients as milk. So milk's relatively high in protein. The almond milks don't have that protein. And there's also a good chance that they can be high in sugar. So you do want to check the labels and look for an unsweetened version of those. That I do a lot is I stock up on frozen fruits and vegetables. They're a really cost-effective way to make sure you're getting your 5 servings of vegetables in and your 3 to 4 servings of fruit. They're frozen at their peak freshness, so they lock in all of the nutrients and the vitamins, minerals, and so they're just as nutritious as fresh vegetables. And especially in Vermont, where our growing season is a bit limited, it can be a really budget-friendly option through the winter. So I plan on using them in soups. I use them as a quick stir-fry mix. And they also have varieties that you just put the bag in the microwave, get it running for 5 minutes, and you've got your vegetable side. So this is a really great way to get those vegetables in. You just want to make sure that they're not packed in any sort of sauce, because that sauce can add a lot of calories, sodium, and fat.
Okay, so just straight up.
Just the straight up vegetables, and that's something that you want to have stocked in your freezer at all times. For if you forget a meal on your planning, or you just run into a really busy night, it's a great.
It's almost easier than cooking pasta.
Oh, definitely.
You know, like or macaroni and cheese. You just put the frozen vegetables in a pan with a little bit of water.
Exactly.
It takes less time maybe than even
for sure
boiling pasta. That's a great hack. Danny, the bread aisle. This is another one. I find myself in this one, and I just grab stuff that looks appealing to me. And I know that's probably not the best way to shop for bread. So what do you recommend? How do you shop for bread?
This is an overwhelming aisle for sure. There's so many different varieties.
Good.
I know, that's how they get you. That's how they get you. So what you're looking for in a bread is you want to choose something that's 100% whole grain. The marketing teams for all sorts of different food products are really smart, and they know that's what you're looking for. So don't just use the labeling on the front. Your best bet is to pick up the bread, refer to the ingredients list, and what you're looking for is for the first ingredient to be whole something. So it might be whole wheat flour in this one. So this would be a 100% whole wheat bread, and they've labeled it correctly on the front. Let's see, so 12 grain. We think multi-grain, it's got a lot of whole things in it. The first ingredient, enriched wheat flour. Enriched is not whole. So what that means is that they've stripped the grain. So all of our grains, they have an outer bran and an inner germ, and then an endosperm in the middle. The endosperm is the starchy carbohydrate that is what we think of most with carbohydrates. And when they process them, they take away the bran and the germ, which contain all of the fiber and the B vitamins. When they enrich it, they put the fiber and B vitamins back in. So my thing is, if it's already there, why take it out just to put it back in? So that's really what you're looking for with breads.
Okay.
The other thing to note is that the size of our bread loaves have definitely expanded. So these might be bigger than what a slice would have been 10, 15, 20 years ago. So depending on your own personal goals, sometimes you want to look for maybe a smaller loaf of bread.
Okay, that's really
smaller
interesting.
Slice, because the calories can vary.
I see a couple out here that are smaller, that look like smaller bread
exactly.
sizes.
So here I'm just picking a couple of other starches. I'm going to grab some brown rice. So brown rice is the whole grain version of a regular white rice. So more fiber, more B vitamins like we talked about in the bread aisle.
So nothing's been stripped out of it.
Nothing's been stripped out of it. So you'll often get more fiber from it. there's going to definitely be more B vitamins in it. And it tends to have, I like the flavor a bit better. It's a bit nuttier, and so it gives your food more depth. The other thing I'm going to grab is some whole wheat tortillas. So if you're doing a taco night, you want to try to get the whole wheat option for the wraps. And you can also use them in a variety of ways. I like to use them for a snack that I make. You can also use them leftovers for sandwich wraps. There's a lot of uses for those.
Okay, so you just have those in your pantry,
Yep.
kind of covered, and you use both of those products with many meals.
Definitely. The brown rice is a staple that I always have in there. Another one of just kind of making sure your pantry's stocked for when you're in a pinch.
That's awesome. So we talked about frozen vegetables, which I'm so excited about discovering those. But you know, my mom used a lot of canned vegetables when I was growing up, and I'm curious, like, do you use them? Do you recommend them? Like, are they good?
Yeah, so canned vegetables, like the frozen vegetables, were frozen at their peak freshness. They do the same when processing the canned.
Oh,
the
good.
one thing that you want to watch out for is the sodium content of them. Salt is added as a preservative very often, and so that's certainly the case with these canned vegetables, whether it's green beans, chickpeas, tomatoes. That's what you're looking for in all of them. But they do have some no salt added varieties.
See that? That's
so
awesome.
The sodium in half a cup of the no salt added green beans is 15 milligrams, whereas in the regular, for the half cup, you're getting 290 milligrams of sodium.
Oh my goodness.
So you're saving over 250 milligrams of sodium, which makes a big difference considering the recommendation for most Americans for sodium is 2,300 milligrams a day.
Wow.
So half a cup of green beans, if you get the regular, can be 10% of that daily
of your
total.
Daily total. So it's better to buy the no salt added,
Yep.
and then maybe add a pinch of salt, of sea salt when you're home.
Exactly.
Or whatever.
Anytime you can put the control in your hands, the better off you are. The other thing you can do if you have some canned regular green beans or any canned vegetables in your pantry right now, if you drain and rinse them, you can get rid of about 40% of the sodium that way. So you don't have to throw away what you've got in your cupboard now. This is a great place to just stock up. One of my go-to meals when I'm in a pinch is kidney beans, chickpeas, tomatoes, all from a can with some rice. Rinse them, drain them, and just cook them up, and it's a pretty quick meal that you can put together.
I love black beans. That's one of my staples that I take. But I rinse them out too. So I like the no salt added. That's the first time I've seen that label. So that's awesome.
Another thing to mention here is that they're really cost effective, especially if you buy the store brand. The store brand tends to be lower cost than the name brand. So that's another quick tip to add there. Canned vegetables also tend to go on sale pretty often, so when you see the 10 for 10 or 20 for 10, stock up.
Okay, that's great to know.
So one of my recipes that I'm making this week is a chicken soup. So I'm just going to grab some of the unsalted chicken broth. Same thing like we were talking about the vegetables. You can always add more salt, but you can't take it away once it's already in the product.
That's awesome. Great. Unsalted chicken broth. That's great. So there's very little sodium.
Very little sodium. So this has 40 milligrams of sodium in it, and so this is the unsalted. So that's just coming from the what they're using to make the chicken broth.
the chicken broth. Cool. This was so much fun. I learned so much. I feel really calm right now about my grocery shopping trip. I would love to spend an hour with you learning how you put all this stuff together now that you've gotten all your products for the week.
Taking the food from the store to the kitchen.
That's what we got to do next. Okay.
Sounds good.